Hello everyone, welcome to ENbreezEN, the daily current affair analysis program from Team Enlight. Today the topics we are going to discuss are regarding the BRICS summit. We will be discussing about BRICS in a prelims perspective as well as the outcomes of the summit. So this is important for you in your GS2 preparation regarding international relations. The next topic is Chandrayaan 2. We will be discussing about the mission as well as the major findings of the mission. This is important for you in your GS3 syllabus regarding science and technology. Now other three topics are discussed on a prelims point of view, that is National Institutional Ranking Framework, US-India Strategic Clean Energy Partnership, and concepts on related to WTO's Agreement on Agriculture, that is about blue box, amber box and green box subsidies. So we'll move on to our first topic, that is BRICS summit. So about BRICS is actually an informal grouping of Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. So the term BRIC was coined by, which denotes Brazil, Russia, India and China, was coined by Jim O'Neill in 2001. And BRIC countries, that is Brazil, Russia, India and China, conducted their first meeting alongside the G8 summit in 2006 in Russia, and it was in 2011 that South Africa had joined the summit, and it has considerable importance in the world international relations scenario, considering that it constitutes about 41% of the world's population as well as 24% of total GDP of the world. Okay, now some major initiatives of BRICS is, one is New Development Bank, which was launched through the Fortaleza Declaration of 2014. Already an ENbreezEN session is conducted regarding New Development Bank. You can go through the link that is given in the description box to know more about New Development Bank. Okay, and another important initiative of BRICS is the BRICS Contingency Reserve Arrangement, which is established in 2015, and it acts as a framework for provision of support to countries in situations of balance of payment crisis. So it is similar to IMF. Okay. Now already there has been an ENbreezEN session about BRICS grouping, so you can go to the link given in the description box again and know more about BRICS. Okay, now we'll move on to our discussion, that is about 13th BRICS summit. So this summit was chaired by India and it was conducted virtually. The theme of the summit is intra-BRICS cooperation for continuity, consolidation and consensus. So the 13th summit is also marking 15 years of BRICS grouping, that is since 2006. Okay. Now about the New Delhi declaration that was adopted on the conclusion of BRICS summit. So this is the first BRICS summit post Taliban takeover of Kabul. So they have said that an inclusive intra-Afghan dialogue for stability in Afghanistan is what is necessary. And they have also condemned the terror attacks on airports in Afghanistan. And also BRICS have introduced a counter-terrorism action plan and also an agreement on remote sensing satellite constellations, which involves cooperation of the space agencies of these countries. Okay, and also they have recalled the necessity in bringing out reforms in principal organs of UN like the UNSC, UNGA, etc. And they have also emphasized their commitment towards implementing UNFCCC, Kyoto Protocol, Paris Agreement and support to the adoption of post-2020 Global Biodiversity Framework. Okay, they have also adopted an action plan for agricultural cooperation of BRICS countries, which spans over the years 2021 to 2024, and another platform called the Agricultural Research Platform is also part of it. Okay, so these are the major points of New Delhi Declaration. Also go through a previous year question that is related to this topic. We'll move on to our next topic, that is Chandrayaan 2. So it was in news because the orbiter of Chandrayaan 2 mission has been providing major findings regarding moon. Okay, so Chandrayaan 2 is actually the second mission of India towards moon, and it was aimed at soft landing in moon and exploring the south pole of the moon, which was not very much explored, and it consisted of the orbiter, lander called Vikram and rover called Pragyan. Okay, and the launch vehicle of this mission was GSLV Mk3. This is a 3-stage launch vehicle, and it is capable of carrying about 4,000 kg of payload to the geosynchronous transfer orbit, that is a GTO. Okay, and the objective of this mission included studying the topography of moon, composition of its atmosphere, mineral distribution, etc. However, the descent of lander was a failure. However, the orbiter is providing information regarding moon. Okay, so what are the major findings? One important finding is that it identified the presence of water at all latitudes. Earlier it was mostly confined to the poles of moon. Okay, and also it have distinctly identified the hydroxyl molecules as well as the water molecules distinctly. That is also a major finding. And also it has detected minor elements chromium and manganese for the first time, and it was detected by large area soft X-ray spectrometer, which is called as CLASS. And also about 95% of the lunar surface is mapped by the X-rays for first time by this device. And also it has provided information about solar flares. Okay, so in the mains perspective, you can link this link the importance of this mission towards the advancement of science and technology in India, as well as the importance of the mission towards socio-economic development. So previous year questions regarding this is provided with respect to mains as well as prelims. Go through the questions and see if you can answer these questions. The next topic is National Institutional Ranking Framework. So it was launched by the Ministry of Education in 2015, and it aims at ranking higher education institutes in the country. So it is actually a framework methodology for ranking these institutions, and the methodology is developed by the core committee set up by MHRD. Okay, and the parameters in this include broadly includes teaching, learning and resources, research and professional practices, graduation outcomes, outreach and inclusivity, peer perception, etc. Okay, and also understand that majority of the data is sourced from applicants itself, and also third party sources also provide data regarding ranking of these institutions. Okay, so initially in 2016 when it was introduced, it included only about single category of university ranking as well as domain specific rankings for engineering, management and pharmacy, whereas it has been broadened to about 4 categories now. Okay, and in 2021 the importance is that research institutes have also been included for the first time. Okay, also note that this ranking is a criteria for private education institutions to be included in the institutions of eminence scheme of the Government of India. Okay, and also IIT Madras is topping the National Institution Ranking Framework for the last 3 years in a row. Okay, the next topic is US-India Strategic Clean Energy Partnership. So a ministerial meeting of this partnership was recently held, and so this SCEP, Strategic Clean Energy Partnership, is launched as per the US-India Climate and Clean Energy Agenda for 2030, which in turn was announced at Leaders Summit on Climate 2021 by the Prime Minister of India as well as the President of United States. Okay, so this mainly involves intergovernmental engagement between these two countries in 5 pillars, that is power and energy efficiency, responsible oil and gas, renewable energy, sustainable growth and emerging fuels. Okay, so also note that there are other initiatives towards this clean energy ties between India and US. It includes India-US Low Emissions Gas Task Force. There is a partnership to advance clean energy research between India and US, as well as an India Energy Modeling Forum. Okay, so you can include this also in your GS2 preparations regarding international relations while you are preparing the India-US relations, as the broadening of ties between India and US in the clean energy sector. Okay, so we'll move on to our last topic, that is about agreement on agriculture. So we'll not be discussing a lot about the in a mains perspective, but we'll be discussing certain concepts associated with this agreement on agriculture, which are important for prelims. So first of all, this agreement on agriculture is actually a framework that aims at providing lesser distortions on trade with respect to agriculture, as well as a fairer competition between developed and developing countries. Okay, and it is an outcome of the Uruguay round of negotiations of WTO, and it came into effect from 1995, and the implementation of this agreement is overseen by the Committee on Agriculture of the WTO. Also keep in mind that this agreement is not yet finalized. It is still ongoing. Negotiations are still ongoing, since there are a number of issues concerning the agreement on agriculture that is unresolved between developed as well as developing countries. Okay, and it mainly covers three areas, that is regarding market access between countries, domestic support provided by countries in their to their agricultural sector, as well as the export subsidies that are provided by countries. Okay, in that with respect to market access, it is provided that any hurdles with respect to market access has to be converted into tariffs, which is called tariffication, and this tariffs has to be reduced gradually. Okay, and it has provided a certain time target to countries. For developed countries, it is said that the tariff reduction should be by 36% over 6 years, that is from 1995 to 2000. And in case of developing countries, the reduction must be by 24% in 10 years, that is from 95 to 2004. Okay, and again, in case of domestic support, the total aggregate measure of support must be reduced by 20% by developed countries and by 13.3% by developing countries. Okay, and the aggregate measure of support, the base year for it is measured from 1986-88. Okay, again, in terms of export subsidies, the developed countries have to reduce export subsidy expenditure by 36% and volume by 21% in the 6 years as was given, that is from 95 to 2000. In case of developing countries, it is respectively 24% and 14% in 10 years. Okay, and the base year here is 1986-90, and also keep in mind that the least developed countries need not carry out these reductions. Okay, another important concept with reference to agreement on agriculture that is always in news is regarding the classification of subsidies. Okay, so subsidies are classified into green box, amber box, blue box, etc. So green box subsidies are subsidies which need not be reduced, or these are subsidies having very minimal or no distorting effects on agricultural trade, so they are exempt from being reduced. Okay, these include direct payment that is provided to producers which are not linked to their production decisions, and subsidies in the form of government service programs, etc. Okay, another important one is the amber box subsidies. These are the subsidies which have certain trade distorting properties. So these are all those domestic support which do not include in the blue box and green boxes. They are directly linked to the production of quantities, and hence they are considered to be trade distorting. So they are subjected to a limit called the de minimis, and it is 5% of the agricultural production in developing countries and 10% in developed countries. Okay, now there is the blue box subsidies which are defined in Article 6. These are subsidies which could be included in the amber box, but certain conditions, since there are certain conditions, they are not considered to be trade distorting, and these conditions are that these are related to production limiting programs, okay, and which do not relate to the current quantity of that production, hence they are also exempted from the de minimis. Okay, another important aspect is the development box subsidies. So these subsidies are actually those subsidies which encourage agricultural sector and rural sector in certain countries. Okay, so this is part of rural development programs in developing countries. Okay, now this is all about the subsidies in agreement on agriculture. You can go through the WTO's agreement on agriculture and what are the recent negotiations that is going on, what are the issues concerning agreement on agriculture. All of these require your broader clarity, so you can go through all of these as a related concept related to this. Okay, so again, there was a previous year question regarding these amber box, blue box, green box subsidies in prelims. Okay, so go through the question and make sure that you can solve it. Okay, so this is all about today's ENbreezEN. I hope it was helpful for all of you. Thank you for watching.